going on, everybody? It's Devin Thomas back with another episode of Unscripted. It's been a good week. It's been actually, I think it's a little bit longer than a week. I think it's been about 10 days, but regardless, it's been a busy last 10 days. We're finally done with moving. I know I talked about that a little bit on the last episode, but I think now we're officially done with moving in. It's funny. We went out and we bought all these appliances on 4th of July weekend. They all get here and not fucking one of them fit when they got here. Even we were talking with the fucking delivery guy and he was just like, dude, like, here's the problem. Laundry machines are supposed to be inside. They didn't fit in the fucking laundry room. Like, we measured and everything. They're just too big when they got here. Like, you couldn't close the fucking, and not curtains, but like, those sliding type, like shutter doors. Wouldn't happen. And then what was next? The fucking fridge. We have this like refrigerator counter depth slot in our kitchen, and when we tried to open the fridge, like the fucking handles that come off the fridge, like it just opened and hit the wall. It was like, of course, right? And then what else? They sent the dishwasher, and we never even opened it because we were like, fuck, we're already returning like 3 out of 4 items. We're like, fuck it, just don't even open it. And then we tried to get our current dishwasher fixed, and when the mechanic came out, it came out for like $150 to come check it out, right? Like, it was minimum pay. We're like, all right, fuck it. Come on out. If we can fix this thing, let's fix it. It's an old Bosch dishwasher. Dude, he goes to take it off to remove it, and it's just rat shit and a fucking chewed through cable. And he's like, hey, like, this is a live exposed cable. And he's like, clearly at some point there's a rodent down here. And he's just like, you got to fucking get an electrician out here and maybe even fucking, I don't know, I guess a rodent specialist. He's a shop vac. We got most of the shit out. It was dirty, but basically had to clear out a rat nest. It was unexpected. And then, yeah, having this like live exposed electrical, because like the lady who lived here before, she's like, oh, like it used to work. And she's like, it just stopped working one day. I'm like, well, I wonder why. But anyways, that was kind of like the beginning of the week or whatever, the last few like days. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so we moved in, had everything lined up to go smoothly. It didn't go as smoothly as we thought, unfortunately. And then this past Thursday, because today's Sunday, they just came and picked up all the shit. They're like, fucking, we'll take everything back. So we got to go still do an appliance swap, but like that's really the biggest thing. Like, it's holding us back from being officially moved in. Because like, dude, like I haven't even been able to do laundry. I've been going to my parents to do fucking laundry. I've been basically washing dishes by hand. It's just like, it's not a big deal. It's just been fucking, it gets old, becomes a nuisance. Your whole counter's filled with drying dishes and then you're fucking using them twice a day. It's just been a whole thing. So we went out and did some shopping though. We hit like fucking World Market and got some cool shit. Target, Marshalls, like Home Goods, like those stores where they sell a bunch of that type of shit. So we've been just going out and about, kind of like just nesting into the house, to say the least. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of what else we did. This didn't happen over the course of the week. I'll just say this. I spent a lot of time putting together our home entertainment system, right? And like at first, like we're here, no internet, right? We had Starlink ordered, which we got it, and fucking Starlink is incredible. It's probably some of the best internet I've ever had. It was a little tricky to set up, which was more our fault than the actual system. It's like the Apple of internet, if I could describe it anyway. It's been fucking fantastic. But before we had it all set up, we're living analog out here. We have no internet, no reception. So we were watching VHS tapes, and I'll get into that later. There's actually 2 movies I'm going to talk about. I'm going to actually watch Backrooms and Obsession. So we're going to talk about those primarily. But yeah, the VHS, going back and like watching them because we had no internet and like you could barely get a signal on your phone. We're like, fuck it. And dude, it was truly entertaining to watch something on VHS. We watched a couple movies. We watched Play Misty for Me, Mrs. Doubtfire, Blow with Johnny Depp. And there's something else in there. But regardless, like just sitting there and watching these movies, there's so much intention. I'd even say like at the time the movies were coming out, they went with like the VHS audience. Like we're like, yeah, you can pause VHS, you can take it out, but it's just, there's just something about it. It truly grasps your attention. You can't just put captions on. You can't just pause it like a digital, movie or a stream and like, I'll come back in a couple minutes or whatever. It was like, you would talk over it a little, but your attention would be drawn back. It was just so, I think dare I say a better way to watch, more intentional watching. Cause like even with streaming that we got it all set up now, I'm like, yeah, I'm not loving this movie. I'll back out. With a VHS, you're kind of like, well, it's already in, and I don't have that many options. So I guess this is kind of like, I'm going to like this movie one way or another. And like, I don't mean that in like a forced appreciation way, more so like, yeah, I'm going to watch this fucking thing. I'm going to watch it because it's what I picked out, and like even the idea of picking it out, I got my limited options like A, B, C, D. All right, I'll pick this one, C, and write it out. But anyways, been using the VHS player, been enjoying the analog. Now that we have digital set up, I finally set up my old TV for my bedroom, and like it's perfect size for this house. We had this huge monster 86-inch fucking TV, and we sold it on Marketplace, and we got good money for it. And like, I just, I loved that TV when we had it at our old house. It made sense. It looked small on the wall there, if that gives you perspective. Here, it just looked like it was the wall. It was like some fucking Fahrenheit 451 shit, like just the wall to wall fucking TV. I'm like, "Oh, we can't have this in here, So we got rid of it. I had like a 55-incher I put in the corner, and it looked great. But last night, this is okay. So we set it up. Everything's good. You got fucking Mario Kart back, all the basics, right? Netflix, etc. Last night, we're just casually watching TV, and my cat Princess goes up behind it, and we're just watching fucking pop culture Jeopardy. It was casual viewing, kind of half watching, And I look up, and the TV's just falling, and then just this fucking shattering, like it sounded like a bomb went off. We had it on this nice glass, like I guess kind of like a TV stand, but coffee table that the previous owner left. And it just like the TV falls, and I just hear it. And it was like fucking the loudest noise ever. I see the cat running. First thing I did was check on Princess. I'm like, all right, like I'm a little pissed because it seems like you're the fucking culprit here, but she was fine. No fucking glass, no cuts, no fucking getting smashed by the TV. Like I was legitimately concerned because I'm like, dude, this was nuts. Like Christine and I just looked up. We were like, holy shit. It just came crashing down. And yeah, it was a little disappointing. All the consoles flew, like the Xbox, the fucking Nintendo, the VHS player, it all came down with it. And it was just a catastrophe. And this is also like, this is more of a getting ahead of myself, but this is after the rodeo. My buddies came down, Marc and Anthony, and we had some other people over too, but I'm a little hungover. Not really hungover, but like just enough to be like at 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night when this happened, be like, I really don't want to fucking do this right now. But yeah, I mean, it was just like this whole thing shattered. The TV fell. There's glass dust and debris everywhere, fucking shards. And we picked it all up, vacuumed, fucking Swiffer, dusted. Like when that type of glass breaks, like we're walk barefoot in our house. It's hardwood floor. You just have to go the extra mile. You have to pick it all up. There's simply no other way to get around it. So we did an extensive pickup, picked that motherfucker up, threw out the big chunks of glass, dumped everything else. It was just, oh my God, it was a nightmare, especially feeling kind of shitty. But anyways, we got it handled. Right now, our TV is just sitting like, there's like a brick area by the fireplace. We're like, fuck it. Like for now, it sits there. They're also like replacement feet for like a TCL Roku TV. And I'm like, all right, like they were just not on there right. We finally put washers on. It works now. But like the whole thing was a catastrophe. And it was just disappointing after setting all that shit up. It was just fucking a nuisance. So anyways, that was like a little bit of the disasters that have happened throughout the week. Otherwise, everything's been good. Everything's been really good. We spent the whole week moving. So like, I think we've been here since, I think today's the 18th or the 17th. So we've been here for like maybe 20 days, not even. I think maybe 16 days. So it feels like forever, but we've been just enjoying it. Like the first few days they were hectic, going and fucking buying this, doing that, having people come out, electrician, etc. It was fucking crazy. But once we started being able to enjoy it, we're heading down to the pool, sauna, hot tub, just taking walks around here. I mean, it's just beautiful. Like couldn't ask for a better place to be. And like, I know I kind of said that last week, but like really like the longer I'm here, the more I love it. So that's nice. And everybody's been having a good time. Christine loves it. Stevie loves it. My parents fucking love it. Everyone loves it. Even my buddies that came down, they loved it. My friends Mark and Elizabeth came through. They loved it too. So it's been nice just sharing the joy, with everyone and just getting to enjoy it. So yeah, what else happened this week? Other than this calamity with Princess, we've also been having like to fucking police my cat from getting out. We're out here in the countryside. You can kind of see maybe at this angle you can't, but I'm looking out and it's just nothing but countryside around me, right? And it's kind of like, if a cat is like a city cat, she used to live in the countryside too, and the house was very secure. We had a lot of cats in my parents' house, so like everyone knew like, hey, like shut the door, etc. Town, fine, no problems. Here, we got a lot of screen doors, we got a lot of sliding doors, and it's kind of like, well, it's just like, I myself am even like guilty of like maybe not shutting the sliding door all the way. I'm more paranoid now because there's been a lot of close calls with Princess, but yeah, it's just been a little transition period for her. She's pretty good though. She's not bolting for the outside. Here's what happened. Sometime in this last week, Princess got out into the garage when we weren't looking, and we couldn't find her. And then I finally opened up the garage, and she was fucking right there meowing like, "Oh, like, how'd you lock me out here?" It's like, dude, you're not supposed to go out here. So she knew. She came inside, and like cats are smart. They know when they're wrong. She came in and she was like, "Oh, fucking meowing, acting all sad." I'm like, "Well, if you didn't fucking go where you weren't supposed to go." And this cat's always obsessed with the one room she can't go in. Of course, right? Like, what are you hiding from me? But anyways, we got her out of there, and then like a few other times this week, it just was like she's been hiding or doing stuff. It's a new house, so like there's even memes about it. But they're like when your cat is like you're like fucking desperately looking for your cat, and it's just like sleeping, and then suddenly appears. It was like that. I mean, we also were like looking for the cat one night. We got back from the pool, and we're like, fuck, we can't find her. I heard somebody else going like, "Here, kitty, kitty," outside. I'm like, holy fuck, someone's trying to take my cat now. Because like, she's beautiful. She's a little Bengal cat. You see her walking down the street, you might want to snag her yourself. And she ended up saying a different name. She's saying Patches, which actually, this is so weird. Patches is a former owner of this house's cat. She let these people take care of him because she couldn't bring Patches where she was going. But you hear Patches, Princess sounds similar. I'm like, holy fuck, is someone calling my cat? Like, how would they even know her name? So anyways, especially in the moment when you're flustered trying to find your fucking animal, you're like, yo, let's not call my cat. But anyways, that's kind of been the other little transitional bugaboo, if you want to call it that. Otherwise, like everything's been fucking great. We've been shopping on the peninsula now, like just being able to just get out there more. Everything's just better. The lifestyle's better. The pace of life's better. Also like the peace. Like it's quiet. I at my other house could sleep until like 8. I could not sleep in past 8 a.m. Here, I mean, I'm not proud to say it, but I've slept till 10 o'clock a few of these fucking past days. And I'm like, wow, like I think I'm catching up on lost sleep, making up for lost time. I've also had some late nights when you're at a new house. There's this kind of like sleepover energy where you're like, dude, we're in a new place. Let's hang out. Let's watch movies. Let's fucking check the place out and do the thing. And like, it feels very new still, like actually being here, but it also feels like a place like I feel very comfortable here. I feel like I've lived here for a long time. I've met all of my neighbors. Unfortunately, one of my neighbors just passed away, the legendary Andy Boy from Salinas. Yeah, we saw some ambulances and a fire truck out there the other day. I can see his house right now. And it was, they said that he's 102 for context. They said people would come and go and there was always caretakers and stuff, but like, I was like, even my other neighbor, he told me, he's like, hey, like you may see a ambulance or fire engine EMT, right? And I kind of like just saw it and I was like, oh, he says this happens, and then it happened to be the day the man passed. So rest in peace to Mr. Andy Boy, Andy Diarigo, but just crazy. The guy has a crazy storied history. You got to look this guy up. He's an incredible human being, major figure in Salinas, and dare I say like national, like, agricultural figure. He did big business and he lived a wonderful life, and it was a pleasure having him as a neighbor while I did. Honestly it was. He was quiet, but honestly, you know, uh I went to school with a lot of the people from the family, the Diorigo family, and they're all great people. And it was just, like he's a living legend. I dare not a living legend now, but like when he was here, I was like, wow, I can't believe I live next door to this guy. So rest in peace. And it's just crazy, like I'll even go other places and I'll see that like Andy Boy logo. Even if you see like any like Foxy or like any Salinas brand around, it's just always kind of like, oh shit, like you could be far from home, East Coast, and you'll see a box and you'll be like, damn, like that's family. Uh in Salinas Valley. Yeah, it's just like it is just fucking a huge, it's kind of like a hidden area. I won't say hidden, but like I think people outside of the valley may not know like how connected the valley is. And like I just went to the rodeo. It was like it's like fucking parade for fucking Salinas, like ag, right? And it was just crazy. Like I went up there, I looked at like every fucking banner and every sponsorship for this thing, and I'm like, I know all these families, I know all these people. This is it's such a big community. It's just really cool. Um, so once again, rest in peace to Andy Boy. And if you drive through Salinas 68, like you'll see him like right there by like I think it used to be Beacon, but now it's like Casillas Bros or something. But there's like, just the paintings and like if you drive through Spreckles, you'll see the Andy Boy painting. And it's just like things that like you kind of take for granted. I guess it's just always been there, and you don't expect things like that to change. Like the Coca-Cola logo, if they changed it, you should be like, well, fuck. Like, So hopefully Andy gets to live forever through the brand. I think that, is kind of the idea and the intention, but still, and also like I think he was like maybe 2 to 5 years old in this painted depiction of him. And for this guy to like not just be the face of it, but later become the president of the company and just be so much more than that, it's pretty impressive, you know. Also, like, not to bring up bad news, but I saw Taylor Farms was trending on X this past week. Mostly last night, actually. I was like shocked to see it because when you see a brand and people that are the greatest people, their brand trending on X, it's just always like a shock to see like your area. It'd be like if Monterey was trending on X for something, or like Santa Cruz. You'd be like, holy shit, like my area, right? And it was crazy to see. And like, yeah, there's gonna be people that say bad things, and they always try and point the finger, but like these like contaminations and issues that happen within agriculture, like they're usually not. Yeah, obviously it's unintentional, and it's not even like a standards thing. Because sometimes like you don't know. Like I remember the E. coli breakout. Like I think it was like a pig or something got into the field and died, and it's like sometimes it's out of your control. It's like God's will, some of this shit, and like for the amount of fucking food they're producing, the amount of people they're employing, and the amount of like shit they're actually doing to feed the world. Like I'm not justifying it, but I'm just saying like this bad batch of lettuce that came out of like a Mexico farm, it's just one batch, I don't know if anyone's passed away from this thing. I hopefully not, and I hope everyone who got sick from this, like, I don't know if you saw the Taco Bell outbreak. I think it's cryocrosis or something. I can't remember the disease, but it's random and it's certainly not good. But I think it's an isolated incident, and I think Taylor Farms has done a good job addressing it. And I think, Taco Bell not as well. I saw their statement, but these are people that like these people care the most. It was even going to the rodeo. Like, I know there's people that don't like the rodeo. They're like, oh, like the animals are being hurt and stuff. There's like, I get it. I understand where people are coming from, but like these people love the animals the most. The ones that are riding these fucking horses or like these bulls, like they wouldn't do it if they didn't love it. And like it's a cultural thing. Like, I compare the rodeo to like bullfighting in Mexico. So I told my friend, because like it is kind of weird if you've never been. It is a little jarring if you've never been to see like how some livestock is treated. And it's not even necessarily treated poorly, but if they're roping a calf, you're like, well, fuck, like that's pretty extreme. But I'm like, hey, when they were fucking roping these things back in the old West, like to, control cattle on like a cattle show, it's like, that's probably how it went down. And that's where the skill and the fucking, expertise came from. These people cared the most. They have carried this on for generations. The rodeo is like 116 years old. I didn't know that until I was there. I was like, I've been to the rodeo so much. Like, you never think like, oh, this is the 100th year or whatever. Like 116 years. It's got a storied history. This is like a truly old school event. And these people have been doing it for that long. They love doing it. They love the animals. They love putting this show on. I think that's the thing to focus on. And I understand like maybe critics and critiques of a rodeo, but like no, like I'd say the same for the ag folk. Like they care the most about making the product the best and the safest and quite literally feeding the world. I think people forget about that. Like this valley is feeding the world and it's pretty impressive, Uh people come to town and like I know people have a reputation of Salinas is this or that. And like the way I see Salinas, my version of Salinas is very different. So even going to the rodeo, like this, I'll get into the rodeo, but even going to the rodeo, it's very for me, it's like a very like a homecoming event per se. Not that I've left and come back, but like if I had left, I even saw one of my buddies from high school there. And it was like, yeah, of course. Like I'm gonna see people like people come back to this because he even said it. He was living up in some other place. Shout out Shane Rogers, OG homie. But he said I think he was up in like Hercules or something. He came back for the rodeo and then he's got his wedding coming up. And it's like, dude, that's like this kind of area. Like this rodeo, like it's a reason to come back, and it's just so Salinas. Like I think like rodeos happen all over, but like this rodeo can only happen here. Biggest rodeo in California, by the way, and it felt like it. And it was like the show this year was great. I was truly impressed. It's also funny to see. I met some kids that were in the box next to me, and it's like the next generation like of these kids, and it's just like it's good to see some things never change because like I remember being their age and doing the whole rodeo the same way, and like the most important thing was fucking drinking a couple beers and fucking hanging out, talking to girls. And yeah, that's exactly what the rodeo was for the most part. But anyways, yeah, the rodeo was good. Fireworks display this year was fucking insane. My buddies Marc and Anthony came down. We had a big barbecue, tossed some beers back, and then we headed there. And while we were there, they fucking, they'd never been. They ever been? I think Mark said he'd been to like the rodeo in like maybe Gilroy, but I've never been to the Gilroy rodeo, and I'm not trying to toss any shade, but it just ain't the Salinas, California rodeo, right? And dude, the rodeo was fucking popping this year. It was huge, maybe the busiest I've ever seen it, to be quite frank. And we got some drinks, headed up to the stands, and like really, we just watched the show. We did walk across to like the Crown Royal tent, the saloon. Dude, it was like fucking Space Mountain in there, like a 45-minute wait or an hour wait. I'm like, I'm not trying to wait in line to get a drink when there's an empty fucking line at this bar over here. And it was like, it would have been fun, the experience, but I was like, fuck it. This is not worth it, you know? Went around, grabbed a fucking churro, went back up to the stands, drank, had a good time, saw the whole fucking show. I usually stay for like most of the show, but I actually stayed for like the entire fucking show this year, and it was good. I was actually really impressed. Production's insane. They got some fucking guy mixing these songs. Like it's like 10 seconds of like the biggest hit song ever, and then just into the next biggest hit song ever. And it's a little hyper, almost like fucking someone's got brain rot DJing up there. But I'll say this, it was fucking well done, well produced. On top of that, I gotta say, like, I think the rodeo, I had an episode last year about the rodeo. I think it was called like something Americana, but this event is like the most Americana event I've ever been to. And it made me very proud to like not only be from Salinas, but also like to be American. Like they focused on like patriotism and like patriotic pride. And like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I just fucking like you could feel it. Like people that were there, like if you brought somebody who wasn't from America to this event, I think they'd fall in love with America going to this event. Like when you were at the rodeo, like how could you not be romantic about America? That's how I felt. And like I don't know. I really enjoyed it this year. Not to say I didn't enjoy it past years, but like this year, just kind of going and hanging out, having a nice little buzz, and just watching the show. Like I just like it's a hell of a show, say the least. I also went Friday night, which is like the most poppin' night, and it was mellow but fun. We went to the casino afterwards. We didn't have too much luck. Mark did okay on the poker table, but also I thought it'd be busier. Usually you go in Old Town after the rodeo, and it is just fucking a sea of people, but I think this also, like Wednesday night PBR, Thursday, the first night of the rodeo, Friday, it's like, fuck, like you got 2 nights of heavy drinking and then this fucking, Friday night show. It's like the third night of the rodeo for some people. Also, it's funny. I go to this place to buy sausage off of 68, a really, really good spot. In my, it's not even my friend, but the guy who works there, he knows us. We go in there all the time, and he is just hungover as fuck. And this guy, I don't even know his name. I talked to him many times. I'll get his name, but don't be surprised if this guy shows up in one of our movies. This guy is a born fucking actor. He is like, we always compare him to Dale from Landman, but it's like he's just one of those guys that like he doesn't even have to throw it on. He is already a character. He is so fucking Salinas. Like he was literally like it would be me in 10 or 15 years if I fucking was a butcher in Salinas just fucking making sausage. Like this guy, he's done it all. He even said like I didn't even go to the rodeo. I went to a pre-party, kept drinking after party, and then he was there at work and he's like, I'm just hungover as fuck. And like but he was making the best of it. He was having such a good time telling us these fucking stories about his wild night. And like also it's funny, like he's one of those guys, like if you live in Salinas and you go to the rodeo, you hate the rodeo like after a certain age. I'm like, you're not wrong. I don't hate the rodeo personally, but I get it. Like you don't need to go to the rodeo if you fucking have been throughout your life. Like you get the show. But anyways, and I'll say this, not much changes at the rodeo, and I mean that in a good way. It's like, dude, it's same shit, different year, but with like a twist every year, and like they do a good job. Like the only thing I'll say is that, and I told Stevie this, is like they don't really focus on the in between part of the rodeo. Like there could be like a halfway to rodeo party, and it's just like a completely naked market. Like no one's looking at this to fucking not just monetize, but to throw an event. Like there should be like a halfway to rodeo thing because like it brings out the rodeo folk. In the rodeo, like, it's funny, Marc and Anthony, they kept saying it, like, wow, people get really dressed up for the rodeo. I'm like, you don't understand. This is like our prom, our fucking winter ball of like adulthood here. Like, this is like where everybody in the ag business, the who's, the fucking, just even the, first day on the job guy, everybody wants to go to the rodeo. It's all Western themed. I joked, I said Boot Barn makes all their money during the rodeo weekend, which probably isn't too far from the truth, but like, everyone's in Western wear, everyone's all, giddied up, and like, it's interesting. I've always lived that life. So for me, I'm like, I get it. But hearing an outsider's perspective, I'm like, yeah, it is fucking kind of crazy. Like we go all out. And it's dope. I love it. I love the way everyone looks. I love the way the girls dress. They look great. It's a fucking, the most cowboy hats you'll ever see in one time, Uh I don't know, something about it. Also, we went through like the mall underneath the grandstands there, and like it's like a marketplace, I should say, but it's a little bit of a mall. And we looked at all the vendors and like, we saw some cool shit. We even saw like cowhide fucking like rugs, which might be a little crazy to have a cowhide on your floor, but dude, it felt really good. Why? It was nice. I just don't want to get a bucket of paint thrown on me by somebody from PETA. But yeah, dude, the cowhides were beautiful and they're expensive, like $350, $400. They had belt buckles that were insane, genuine leather hats. Then they had just some other more novelty shit. But it's such a culture. Like the rodeo is like, I almost said it's kind of like a circus. There's something everywhere you look, which isn't untrue. Like, they got a rodeo clown right up in the front doing his thing. They got something going on at every second. The rodeo it's truly like a masterful production. But anyways, my boys had a good time. They had a great time coming down and visiting a new place. I hadn't seen them since saw Anthony earlier in the year, but I hadn't seen Mark since Europe. And it's just crazy. Like, when you make a friendship with people and especially like, some good friends, the friendship is just like, yo, like, dude, there's no need to like, it's been a long time. He's like, yeah, what's going on, brother? Like, how are you doing? And that's exactly how I felt. And like, I don't know, just some of my favorite people. So thank you guys too, if you're listening, Anthony and Mark, for coming on down, dude. Mark and Elizabeth, thank you guys for coming over too. I know Marco's listening. Hopefully you're on your walks. Anyways, trying to think of anything else that went down. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, we've been slowing down, enjoying the pace of life here. And yeah, just trying to get back to work. That's my focus. I had a good time. I feel like the honeymoon period at the house is kind of winding down. I don't mean that in like like I'm over it. I mean like okay, I've had some fun. I've eaten big. We've had some fucking barbecues. It's time to get really focused on staying in shape. It's time to get really focused on work and just trying to dial in, because I know you always see those stoic quotes where it's like there's nothing that bothers or torments like a man more than like seeing his potential and then not fulfilling it. And that's kind of how I feel right now. It's like I'm not like, they call it rest, but then rest can become comfort. And it's like, I've rested, like I've gotten comfortable. It's time to get uncomfortable again and stop resting and just dial back in. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm happy I took the break. Moving really was a drag that put a huge break into my like routine and lifestyle. But I just know I'm happier doing my routine and lifestyle. And like, once I get back to that, like, I mean, I'll be unstoppable again. That's how I feel. And I'm unstoppable already, mentally free, but you know how it is. There's something about just being on the grind and fulfilling your potential that is just like, dude, it's the best drug in the world. And that's the high I'm chasing right now, because I know I can get back to it. All right. So I think I've talked enough about my week. I'm trying to think of like anything other significant occurrences. Not really. We met some characters this week. We've been doing a liquidation on a farm. And yeah, dude, I met some crazy rich dude. He's really cool, but just super random. You don't know who you're going to meet. Trying to think of anything else. No, that's probably it. Like, honestly, like having my friends down was like the biggest thing. I had my plumber over, my boy Michael, and like he fucking told me I might have to replace my shower in due time. So like he's like, it's gonna be a demo. He's like, not in a year, not in 2 years, but he's like, eventually, like this shower is gonna like pff. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But I think the biggest bummer is that I want to keep it very similar and I don't want to modernize this house too much. And like I think it's gonna cost me a chunk on tile. So I'm looking over towards like where the bedroom and bathroom is, but that's been on my mind too. So appliances didn't fit. Friends came down. Rodeo was a great time. Casino was good. I mean, Stevie lost this time. He's usually a big winner, but like there was some confusion on the bet, so I don't blame him. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about? Did I talk about this? Maybe it's been that long. The McGregor fight. I'll just add this before we get into the movies I watched this week. But man, I watch UFC. I've always watched it. I've been watching it for years, probably since the late 2000s. My buddy John Piercy got me into it when I was really young. He was so into it, and like I thought it was super cool because he thought it was super cool, and then I ended up really fucking liking it. Um, but damn, like this McGregor fight, I don't know if you saw it. It was just, he either knew he was injured going in or he really hurt himself. But like whatever happens in the future, I personally doubt he'll fight again. He says he may come back, but it was a complete waste of time for everybody who like really wanted to see a fight. And like, do I blame him? A little. Do I hate him? No. I get why, if he wanted to fight, get that fucking money, get that paycheck. But it's also like, dude, I really, and I know I'm not alone. Everybody thought it was going to be a hell of a fight. A lot of wagers placed as well, which there'll be an investigation to the ethical side of it. But that was a little disappointing. You see the boy, Paddy Pimblett. He's definitely, I'd say, the new favorite in the UFC. It's his personality, it's his skill. But damn, that McGregor fight was a letdown. I know FIFA's on right now. I'm not watching. I just don't have it. I know even my buddy Anthony was texting me. He's like, dude, you gotta fucking watch FIFA. And I'm like, dude, I would if I could. I've missed quite a few games, and I know a lot of people are like fucking every game dialed in, but admittedly, I've only watched like I think 2 games. I think I watched USA in the beginning, and then I think we watched like a Brazil game. Maybe it was USA and Brazil, but I digress. So I finally got around to watching those banger movies everybody's been talking about. I've talked a lot about Obsession. Also, I want to say for the record, this is a redaction on previous episodes. I've been calling him Curry Baker. His name is Curry Barker. And I'm sorry, Curry, if you're listening too, because nobody wants to have their name mispronounced. It'd be like if I was calling him like Dury, he'd be like, dude, it's Curry. So I feel a little bad about that. Anyways, we'll get into Obsession. The first movie I watched, though, was Backrooms. And I have to say, I was pleasantly fucking surprised with Backrooms. I thought it was a fantastic film. Totally a type of movie I would like not see myself making necessarily, but could see myself making something like that. But like the tone and style was really good. And like the idea was just genius. And I know it's derivative of some other things on the internet, like creepypasta and stuff, but regardless, the execution is what matters in the end. And Kane Parsons and his team did a great job. Little context for the film: Backrooms, 2026. Director Kane Parsons, writer Will Sudik, director of photography Jeremy Cox, cast Chiwetel Ejiofor, Renate Reneviz, Mark Duplass, Finn Bennett, Lukita Maxwell, and Yvonne Ajogia. Chiwetel, the main guy, I think he's in 12 Years a Slave. I don't want to butcher his name again. His name's Clark in the movie. Much more simple name to pronounce. And I don't remember Renate's name, but she's like the therapist in the movie. And then Mark Duplass has a small part as like a guy who's kind of observing these people in the back rooms. He works for like an MRI company who discovered the back rooms or something. It's very ambiguous. So even if I'm telling you this shit and then you watch the movie, that'll make it better for you. But anyways, may or may not know the story of Kane Parsons. I've talked about him quite a bit, but he started as a YouTuber who was making these like short films, like kind of based around the backrooms concept. And he eventually got greenlit. The popularity was so big that they're like, hey, like, let's get a screenwriter in here. Let's put together something. Let's make a movie. So I think the budget was $10 million, and I think it's made 350 mil or 360 mil. Big hit. But premise is basically this: backrooms area is this like rip in time and space, or like something like somehow you're able to go into this area. You kind of like put your hand through a wall and you just go into a new space, and it's this liminal space where it's usually like an office area or like everything looks unfinished and nothing makes sense. And Clark, the guy who discovers it in his furniture store, is going through like a separation with his wife, or like they're fighting, right? He's living at the fucking furniture store, and he's staying there at night. He's drinking. He's got alcohol problem. He's got his therapist he goes to, psychologist, and she kind of tells him like, hey, like they do role play, and she pretends to be his wife, and then he lied to her about drinking, and that like stirred the pot and caused a lot of the problems, right? And it's because she's going to school, he's an architect, and he's been forced to open up this furniture store to support her, and he doesn't want to do it, and that's why he drinks. He's sad that he's doing it. So he's doing what he doesn't want to do, and he resents her a little bit, and he's just lost power. And you can tell he gets triggered by even like revisiting the night he like got split. So anyways, it shows him later at his like failing furniture business. Like when he gets to work, it says like rip off and like fuck you on the sign around his like, storefront in the windows. It's like obviously he's either doing bad business or he's overcharging or his furniture sucks. Also, mind you, this place takes place in Santa Clara Valley. I've never heard anyone ever fucking call it that, but the movie is basically a San Jose, Santa Clara movie. Yeah, just for additional context. So he goes to work. He's got these kids, Bobby and Kat, that film him, and they fucking. Well, Bobby is Kat's boyfriend. He's kind of like the videographer. He comes into play later. He films him as well when they end up going into these back rooms. But Kat is like his employee, and he's like doing a commercial where he's dressed up like a pirate, and it's like called Captain Clark's Furniture. And he sits in a chair and it breaks. He's like, "Can we reshoot it?" He gets angry, and the kid's like, "Sure, we'll reshoot it later." But anyways, he also mentions like, "Girl, like, are we open?" He's like, "Open up." She's like, "We've been open." He's got no business. He's trying to do these fucking corny ass commercials. He's just trying to get people in the fucking door, right? So anyways, his life sucks. It shows him in bed at the furniture store watching TV. Also, let me add one more thing of context. This movie takes place between 1990. They show like some early footage of somebody in the back rooms. They get attacked by something we don't know. And it cuts to 1998. This is Clark's time. So obviously they've discovered this back room for a while. They've been observing. Now we're at Clark's timeline, 1998. He's working at a 90s furniture store, watching on one of those big black box TVs where the ass end comes out all the fucking way off the table. And he's watching like other people's commercials, drinking in bed, right? And he had an electrician over earlier in the movie the same day to look at like flickering lights. He's like, at night, like I turn off the lights and all the lights flicker and come on. And then they go down to the power fucking like, breaker. And there's just these other switches at the bottom. They make no sense. And the guy's like, these don't make any fucking sense. The electrician, he's like, okay, like that is weird. So, anyways, lights flicker and Clark's drunk and he walks downstairs to go to the power thing and he sees those additional little switches and he flicks those and he flicks the power and it doesn't do anything. He's like, God damn it. So he's walking back to the stairs to go up and he looks over the wall and there's just this like glowing line and he sees it on the wall and he kind of moves back and forth and he realizes he goes up to it and he puts his hand through the wall and he's like, holy shit. And then he decides to go all the way through and he enters the back rooms where there's like a pile of furniture and then he just looks down. It looks like a hallway that just keeps going and going and going. And as he's drunk in his drunken stupor, he walks through and he explores it. And the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is weird. It's entertaining though, because every part of it is different. Like it's like the set building and set design was so good. You watch it and you're like, this is so bizarre, but like there's something alluring about the back rooms. You want to keep exploring it. You want to keep going. Mind you, Clark is also an architect. So he's kind of like taking it all in despite being drunk. He's like, this is weird. He crawls through a tunnel. He goes through a door. There's doors with 3 handles. 2 of them don't work. 1 does. Nothing makes sense. He ends up getting into this room with this big purple chair. The first time I watched it, I didn't realize it. The second time I watched it, I realized it's the chair he's sitting in during his commercial he's trying to film with the kids that breaks. And I'm like, oh, maybe why would that be in there? Is that, you start realizing some of this stuff might be a projection of his own mind, things that he remembers or things that he knows. So he's in there exploring and you can kind of hear people scuttling around like footsteps and noises, but he goes to a doorway and he hears something or like a tunnel and he just doesn't like the sound. It kind of freaks him out and he starts going back. He's trying to figure out how to get back though. He's like, wait, how did I get in here? Because he's a little lost. It's like it's a weird fucking like endless room. That's the best way I can describe it. Everything looks kind of like office space or like commercial. Maybe some stuff looks like a house, but it's very weird. And it's got this yellow, like weird lighting, right? So, anyways, he makes his way back, he exits, and then he goes to his therapist like a week later. We don't see him. He's at his therapist, and she's just like, hey, you seem really bad. You seem tired. She's like, are you under the influence? He goes, why would you say that? And he goes, I haven't drank in 5 nights. He's like, ever since I found this thing, he even tells her, before he discloses what he found, he's like, hey, have you ever 5150'd somebody? And she's like, I have. He's like, well, I'm going to tell you some shit. Maybe you'll think I'm fucking crazy. But he's like, I found this thing at my store and I've been mapping it out. Mind you, he's an architect, so he's able to fucking like literally like he gets it. He's trying to map out the back rooms. And she's just like, okay, I'm worried about you. I think this is a fantasy. And he gets angry and he's like, fuck you. I'm going to go get a camera. I'm going to get this kid to come and film me with his girlfriend. I'm going to fucking prove to you that these back rooms exist. And she's just like, kind of like, okay, Clark, like do what you got to do. Right. She thinks he's a crazy patient. So anyways, we end up seeing him go back into the back rooms with Kat and Bobby. And, Bobby's filming. He's all for it. When he sees that, he walks through this fucking wall. He's like, dude, this is insane. Let's go. And then Kat, their girlfriend's like, this is fucking weird. Like, we shouldn't even go in here. Like, this is some serious shit. So she's hesitant. They go in. This time, Clark's been in there many times. He's got a lot of experience going into the back rooms. He's got like ropes and shit. And he's like, hey, we're going to explore some of these like lower levels that I can't get to. And of course, the lower levels are, sketchier. He like sends Bobby down with a camera and a rope and they're like holding him. And when he goes down there, he ends up like encountering something. We don't know what it is. And he tries to run away. And it's also weird. There's like laundry piles and shit down there. It's just so bizarre. Like it's almost like a nightmare. That's the way I describe it. Like it's like in a dream. When you're walking around in a dream, it's like, it kind of makes sense, but it's also kind of this endless room. Like if you're in a house and you open the door and you're at the beach and then you open the next door and you're, almost like Monsters Inc. or something. You just keep going through infinite doors. Like it's always something else. Like you got to see it. The visual's insane. But like there's like, oh, here's a pool, and then you walk down a staircase and walk up a staircase, and then there's a door that opens into a kitchen, that opens into like a pantry, that opens into like a Christmas part of the mall. It just made no fucking sense. And anyways, when they go down there, Bobby is like descended and they're trying to hold on to him, but something gets him. It pulls him back down this tunnel, and you kind of see him through the found footage of the camera, like blood going into like some door. And it's like, okay, Bobby's done, probably, right? But Kat and fucking Clark, they both go down there and they end up just running through doors. They're trying to evade this monster, this creature. They don't know what it is, right? And eventually it shows like Clark put down the camera and he's filming himself trying to hear Kat through a wall. He can hear her, but he can't see her. It's just like a fucking wall in like, I don't know, another room. And that's it. You see someone pick up the camera and then it cuts to black. And then it cuts back to the therapist. And now she kind of takes over the narrative a bit. She gets a message from Clark. It's concerning. She's like, well, I'm going to go check on my client because now I'm worried. She goes to the furniture store. Somehow or another, she ends up discovering the doorway that he's like put tape around the spot you can get into the back room. So she goes through it and she starts to discover the back rooms for herself. And eventually she runs into Clark. And when she finds Clark, he has like learned how to control the back rooms with projections from his mind or something. It's very weird. The idea is super science fiction-y and very ambiguous. You can't really like, you got to see it. I know I'm giving you like a broad stroke like description of it, but like when he's finally there, he fucking is lost his mind. He thinks that he can do the role play they did in the beginning of him and his wife on the night they split up again. And he's got like there's also these projections chasing Clark. Like this woman with red hair is supposed to be, I guess, his like ex-lover because they show a picture of her earlier in the film. There's somebody else in like a wheelchair. I don't know who it's supposed to be, but like there's all of these projections from his mind. And he ends up tying up his therapist and like making her role play. He like cuts the scalp off this other woman, puts it on her. He eats the other people that are in here. He like finds out he can eat like the projections and they don't feel pain. It's just super weird. And he's become obsessed with it. He feels like he finally, because he hates his job, he hates his waking life. The back rooms is where he feels at home now. He spent so much time there. And also it's revealed that he killed Kat. That he opens up the fridge to grab something and it shows Kat's head. And he's like, oh yeah, like she didn't want to, you know, she didn't want to stay in the back rooms. Like he thinks the back rooms are everything. Therapist freaks out, and eventually, while they're like Clark's doing this thing, he's gonna kill her. Right? He's having this role play, and she tries to play along with him, and then she's just like, "Fuck you! Like you got me kidnapped. You need to let me go." And he's about to kill her. He's got a knife in his hand, and this giant like pirate, which looks like the Captain Clark pirate from the commercial they were filming, comes out, and like Clark freaks out. He's like, "Why are you here? You shouldn't be here." And he tries to reason with this giant, right? And it ends up just like eating him. It like bites into his like shoulder and his chest and like eats Clark alive. And the girl's horrified. And also the projections try and run away too. Like the inanimate projections, they can't feel pain, but they all run like wild animals. They're like, hey, like this thing's coming. We got to go. So anyway, she has like a big chase and a showdown with this giant. And she ends up, I don't remember how she does it. She finds a way to kill it, but oh, she has this little piece of sidewalk that she got. Because in the beginning, it did show quite a bit of the therapist story. Her story wasn't as interesting, in my opinion, as Clark's, but she took a piece from her childhood home. Her mom was crazy. It kind of shows why she got into being a psychologist or psychiatrist. And she has this piece of like cement that has like her handprints from her childhood. And she ends up using it to like smash in his head. And then she gets away, right? But as she gets away, she slips into this area and there's like these people with hazmat suits and they spray her down and like decontaminate her. And it's Mark Duplass and his team. And this guy's name is Phil in the movie, and he gives her like an interview at the end, basically asking her all these questions about what she saw. He gives her a little context about what went on, but he's like, yeah, we're kind of just like, it's ambiguous of whether or not she's ever let go. And it shows her being interviewed, and then it cuts back to the back rooms and just shows like a projection of her tied up in the chair. And it's like, does she ever escape the back rooms? Is she just a projection or a memory now living in the back rooms? One of these people that was tied up at one point in this weird scenario with Clark? You don't know. But giving you context of the actual idea of the film, the narrative, the idea itself is timeless. And it's also universal. Like this could be applied anywhere. They could work at any business. It doesn't have to be a furniture store. They could be any type of person. The idea is someone finds this back rooms and stumbles upon it. And now they've have access to it, or they, whether or not they want to go back or forth. I think once you find it, it's got this like natural like draw. You want to explore it more. You want to be in there because it's mind blowing. And even the Mark Duplass character, Phil, he tells her, he's like, we're an MRI company. He's like, but we discovered this and we think it's the most important discovery ever, maybe ever. Right. And it's almost like a multi-dimensional thing. I'm not sure. They had a scene where it showed like the girl's childhood home and it showed a different version of her home, different version. It just kept going down and down, like different versions. So it just looked like the back rooms. And it's like, what is the back rooms really? We don't know. Maybe it's a riff in dimensions or time and space. I just don't know. But overall, the movie is well shot. Kane Parsons young, I think he's 20 now. I think he was 19 when he directed it. It's insane, like the whole story. And I'm sure he got a lot of help from the crew and stuff, but like you cannot take away the fact that this kid, executed and delivered a great done Hollywood film. That was not only a financial success, but I see its continued success. I just read that he's got a 3-year first look deal with a Backroom sequel. That's what they really want for $65 million. I mean, could you imagine being that age and getting $65 million? Like, unless you're like a fucking professional athlete, I don't know. It's just insane. So good for you, fucking Kane Parsons. He's also from not Pacifica, where is it? Petaluma. So it's cool. I think it's why he maybe chose Santa Clara or San Jose as a location to shoot it in. And anyways, hats off, dude. You did a great job. Really, really love Backrooms. It's a movie I've watched a few times since as well, just to kind of throw it on. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Really liked it. The next movie I watched was Obsession. Now, this one's the hot topic as well. Obsession is a little different, more, I'd say, contemporary horror. Really well executed, really well shot. The story with this movie is Curry Barker, writer director. I'd seen his other film, Milk and Cereal. It's on YouTube. It's really great. He bought a lot of press with Variety when it came out, and like that's how I heard about it. I didn't know who he was, but I saw these articles. It says like man makes like movie for $800 and like has massive success on YouTube. I found out later he's a little bit of an influencer, and makes like funny videos and stuff, but that doesn't take away from the fact he made a great movie. And we watched Milk and Cereal today as well, like just to revisit it, and it was good. Like it's a low budget kind of found footage look, but no, he knows movies. He gets it. Obsession though, writer director Curry Barker, director of photography Cooper B. Bowd, uh, cast Cooper Tomlinson, Cassidy Morris. This is not the right cast in my opinion. I can't remember her name. I think it was Indy Navarrete. She is the lead, and then this other kid, I think Michael Johnston. Uh, I think Cooper Tomlinson's in it, but he's like a minor character in Obsession. So, anyways, man, the movie was really great. I was blown away. It starts off with this guy, and he's kind of a. Oh, one last thing for context before I start the like, narrative, like actual description. This movie is made for 750K, and I think it's made like 450 mil. So he took his success from this Milk and Cereal movie, raised money, 750K in my opinion. Like, yeah, it's a lot of fucking money for anybody, but for like what he's done, great job, great execution, under $1 million. I always tell people this when you're raising money. It's like, yes, 10 people for 100 grand, that's $1 million. Got 10 investors, right? So just for context, he got a lot of cash, but he also, he did this thing the Hollywood way. This movie is extremely like it's budget, but Hollywood. It looks beautiful, props and all that shit. Like no expense spared. But anyways, I digress. So it's about this guy whose name is Bear, and he really likes Nikki. And Nikki is his friend who works at the music shop. And his other friend Ian works there, and Sarah. So, Bear is rehearsing in like the first scene how he's going to tell Nikki how he feels about her. He's doing it with a waitress, and like they do it where you don't know that at first. And then like his buddy Ian is like, dude, this is fucking gonna like ruin your guys' friendship. Like, don't do it. And they're like, I think the Sarah girl might be there too, and they're all like, dude, like this is a mistake. Like just fucking if you like her, just tell her, but like don't make it this big deal. So anyways, we go out for drinks later, and you could tell like the Bear guy, he's like infatuated by Nikki. And it's like it reminded me of being young when you like really like a girl and you just don't know how to say I like you, like because you're afraid of like, I don't want to fuck this up, blah blah blah. Very relatable in that sense. And I think like that's probably why the movie has so much appeal. But he's at the bar, he never gets a chance to say it. And then at the end of the night, and she's cool, like you get why he likes her. She's cool as fuck. She's a little into herself, but you know what? She's kind of like the it girl in the group. She's hot. And she's got a great personality. And then like he ends up volunteering to drive her home at the end of the night. And she's like, sure, I'll take a ride. And he's like, okay, cool. As they ride there, they kind of have a conversation. And then she like, it's weird. It's almost like she's like, he says he's got something for her. And she's like, you, like, I hope it's not. She's like, it makes me nervous. Why does it make me nervous? And he's like, I don't know why. It's a weird reaction. You kind of get where he's coming from. It's kind of like, well, dude, fuck you. Like, I can't like, even like humor this idea that I like you. I get it. It was very authentic, right? So anyways, he pulls up and he's ready to drop her off. And then like, as he's dropping her off, she kind of like asks him like, do you like me? Because if you do, now is the time to tell me. And he's just like, I like you as a good friend. And then he like regrets it. And he's like, fuck. Oh, mind you, before he goes out that night, his cat passes away, Sandy. He finds her at home. She's eating a bottle of pills. This is after he's like practicing to tell her how he feels. And then he stops by like a store. He's very sad about the cat, but he kind of doesn't tell anyone. He tells Sandy like finally at the bar, or not Sandy, he tells the Nikki girl at the bar, and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe your cat died. And then he, before he goes to the bar with everyone, he stops at the store to try and buy like a crystal necklace or something. He wanted to get her a gift. And he ends up buying this thing. It's called like a one wish willow. And it's like a stick that you say your wish and you break it and the wish will come true. He doesn't think much of it. He gets it for like $5. And he's going to give it to Nikki, but instead, as Nikki is walking away after he blew it, he says, "I wish Nikki loved me more than anyone in the world," and he breaks it. He kind of remembers he had the gift. And after he does it, she just stops and turns around and comes back to the car, and she's acting completely different. She's warm to him. She's like, "Do you want to come in? Do you want to do this?" And he's just like, he's like, "This is fucking weird." Like, he's like, "Is this really work?" And then she also says like, "Hey, the reason like I don't want to go home tonight is my dad has cancer, and like I really don't want to be alone. I want to go to yours." So he brings her to his house, and like things start to go down. Like she gets in his bed, and then she asks him to sleep with him. And as he's getting ready to get in the bed, she like takes off her shirt, and he's just like, "Fuck! Like, is this really happening?" It's everything he wants. And as they're in bed, she like, comes on to him and starts making out, but then she like snaps out of it. She's like, "What the fuck are we doing?" And he goes, "I thought you wanted to do this." And she's just like, "Okay, we'll sleep on the floor," like whatever. She kind of snaps out of it. And anyways, he kind of keeps going throughout his day, and like over the next few days, it basically shows a montage of like how like they start falling in love, like they're doing everything together. She wants to be with them, and then he starts realizing little things. Like at first, like, hey, like she just doesn't want to ever leave me alone. She is like Nikki, but not really. She's almost got like it's her, but it's not really her. And he starts like not regretting it, but like he tries to tell her that he needs to do something, and like she and all the friends think it's weird. They think that because her dad has got cancer and that she's going through something, he's taking advantage of her emotionally. He's like, "That's not true." And he hasn't told anyone about the wish. He just thinks like, how could this wish, do you think this wish really work? Like he kind of doubts it. He's like, "I think maybe she finally likes me." And they're finally having the connection. And she's like saying, "Oh, I love you." Da, da, da. And then it just keeps growing more and more. She becomes obsessed with him to the point where like they're out at dinner, and his friend calls him while he's at dinner, and he tells him like, "Hey, like I just looked into it, dude. Like her dad doesn't have cancer. I've been following him around. He's fine." And he's kind of like, "Why would she make that up?" He goes, "I don't know." But he's like, "That's definitely a red fucking flag." And he's like, "You're not wrong. That is weird." So he goes back to the table and he asks her. I thought this was one of the funniest scenes in the movie. And she's just like, he's like, "Hey, Nikki, like, does your dad really have cancer?" And she just goes, "No, no, 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 no." And she stands up. She just keeps louder and louder, like, "No, no, 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 no." And it's awkward as fuck. And I think he's just like, okay, like, she's like, "Why are you ruining a good night?" And he's just like, fuck. So they end up like calming down, but like he ends up seeing that like she's not sleeping at night. She's just watching him. He's like in bed and he wakes up, she's not there. And she's like in the corner, like, "I can't sleep because when I sleep, I have bad dreams. I need to just stay awake and watch you. I need to know that you love me." And he's just like, "Okay." And then he goes to work and he's talking with this, or before he goes to work, it's like the morning and like he wants to leave. And she's got his door duct taped shut. He doesn't see it initially. He's just like, "Hey, we need to talk about like last night. Like you got to sleep in the bed." And she's like, "I'm so sorry, baby." Like, like overly all apologetic. And like, also, like, he tried to get out of bed the night before, and she literally, like, screamed, like, "Stay!" Like, it's just crazy, almost like possessed. But anyways, he's telling her, like, "Hey, like, we can't have this type of nights. Like, you need to sleep in bed. Like, I can't see you tired." Like, she goes, "Okay." And then he turns around, he sees his door is, like, completely duct taped shut. So he's just, like, has to, like, rip it open. And then as she's leaving, or as he's leaving, she just stands there and, like, she's there all day, like, smiling, like, and he's just like, "Okay, like, bye." And then it shows her, like, she stands there, she, like, pees, she shits there, she never moves. Very, like, Exorcist reference, but really weird. Like, her obsession is growing and growing. And then when he's at work, he's talking to Sarah, who's, like, the other coworker, and it turns out that actually, I forgot to mention this. When he was riding home with Nikki on, like, the night he made the wish, she tried bringing up, like, "Sarah likes you. Like, what do you think about that? How does that make you feel?" He goes, "I don't know. Like, I don't really feel anything about that." But then he goes to work and he and Sarah start talking, and he kinda confronts her about talking shit about Nikki, like, "Hey, like, I thought you and Ian were talking about Nikki behind my back. How you think I'm taking advantage of her?" He goes, "We talked about it once." And she's just like, they start flirting, and you can tell they actually have, like, a real connection. Is better than, like, Nikki and, Bear's connection. Like, he should have really been with her. And then the Sarah girl and him, they flirt a little bit, and then he kinda tells him that, like, like, Ian's been, like, hooking up with this chick for, like, the last years, and he's kinda like, "Well, fuck, I didn't know that because I always tell him how much I like her." And then while he's eating, he realizes that the Sarah girl grabs his note and says, like, it said something about, like, "My little food critic, his dreams to be a food critic." He kinda joked. He's like, "It'd be a great job, right? Eat and fucking get paid to talk about it." And it says, "How was the cat?" And he's just like, "Cat." And he realizes that, Nikki has cooked his cat, Sandy, into his sandwich, and he throws up, and then he goes home to confront her. And when he comes home, he sees the piss and shit on the floor. He's like, "Dude, you look horrible." He's like, "You need to shower and pick this up." And she's like, "Okay." And then at this point, he just doesn't think he can leave. He's just like, "I gotta stay with her because she's becoming, like, dangerously obsessed." And, when he gets home, she cleans up, and then he tells her, like, "Hey, by the way, like, there's a boys' night. The Ian guy is like, hey, you need to come over. Don't bring Nikki. Come hang out at this party. We'll all hang out." And he's just like, "Okay, like, I'll go." And then as he tells her that, like, "You gotta test her and see, like, if she's fucking really into it, she'll let you go. But if she's just trying to control you, she'll freak out." and she freaked out. He said, like, "Hey, don't cook the cat. Don't use the bathroom on the floor." And then he said, "I'm going to boys' night." And she like literally turned off the shower and like, "Am I invited? Like, what's up with that?" And he's just like, "Well, I don't think you are. It's just the guys." And she goes like, "Well, Sarah texted me and said she's going. So what, are you lying to me?" And he's just like, "Oh, you can come." And she freaks out. She's just emotional. Anyways, the obsession's real. They get to the party, and while they're there, it's like a truth or dare with like Jenga blocks. And she gets up. Yeah, I don't even know what her block said. And she starts saying a poem about like a willow tree and all this weird shit. It sounded like Hansel and Gretel references. I don't know. And the dude's just freaked out. Everyone knows she's acting weird. And then uh our boy Bear grabs a block and says, "Kiss the person to your left." And Sarah's sitting next to him to his left. And like the Nikki girl literally like it's like looking like a big frown on her face, and then gets up and literally sits down, like pulls the other girl out of the way and sits down in between them and sits there like ready, waiting for a kiss. And it's just so awkward and so cringe. And like she finally like he kisses her, and then like the Ian friend just like, "Hey Nikki, are you okay?" Like straight up like, "This is fucking crazy how you're acting." And anyways, they go to the party, they leave, and then she tries to like stab herself in the face at the party with a bottle. She like breaks a bottle and tries to stab herself in the head. They go to the ER, then they go home, and he's like, "Hey, like you need to stop acting like this. I'm freaked out. You're freaking everyone else out. If you're gonna do self-harm, try and kill yourself or something, like we're just not gonna have it." Right. And she's just like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry," trying to apologize to him. He's like, "Well, dude," he's like, "This is getting like scary for everyone." Also, before he gets back into the house, like after he takes her to the hospital, he tries to call the number. He finds the One Wish Willow thing, and he tries to call it, and the guy's just like, "Hey, like, what do you want?" He's like, "I want to change my wish." Right? His wish was, "I wish Nikki loved me more than anyone in the world." He wants to change it to, "I wish Nikki only loved herself," because he knows that this is wrong. And the guy's like, "You can't change it. The only way you can break the wish is if you die or they die." Right? And he's like, "Fuck." So he goes into the house, talks to her, and then no, he goes back to the store to try and buy another stick to make another wish, right? No. This is what happens. He's at the house, he hears it, he talks to Nikki, and then while he's in bed with her, she finally falls asleep, right? This is after the hospital, and he gets a text from Sarah, and she's like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna come by, like, we need to talk," right? Like, about what happened. He's like, "I'll try and sneak out." And then as he's trying to sneak out of bed, the real Nikki trapped inside her body is just like, "Hey, it's really me. It's Nikki. Like, kill me. Because whatever you did, this wish, like this shell of a person I am now, it's not me." And he's like, "What's so wrong with being with me?" He's like talking to her. She's like, "We have never been together. Like, this is your wish. I don't want to be with you. Like, this is because you made a wish. That's the only reason we're together. I've never been with you." And he gets kind of mad. He's like, "Well, fuck you." Right. So he goes out to talk to Sarah. And while they're talking, like they actually have a connection. They're talking about some letter she got, maybe it was college or something. And like, they're having this moment and they're like straight up about to kiss. And Nikki just breaks the window and like smashes Sarah's face into the windshield till she's like literally like blood and guts, like eyeball hanging off. Like it's disgusting and it's extreme. And then she's like, "It's not your fault. Like I know you didn't want to kiss her." And she tries to get him out of the car and like, "It's okay, baby." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, I gotta go and do some stuff." Right? He gets cleaned up and he leaves her. She's at home still, right? And when he leaves her, he goes back to the store. He tries to buy another wish stick, the little One Wish Willow, and then he goes to Ian's house and he explains to Ian, and Ian's just like, "Dude, you're crazy." He's like, "I know it sounds crazy." And he's like, "I don't care if you want to hook up with Nikki, do it." He's realizing this has been a big mistake. Excuse me. Maybe they were never meant to be together at all. And he's just like, the Ian guy is not taking him serious. He's like, "Dude, fuck you. This is ridiculous." He's like, "Oh, this is about me hooking up with her now. Like, fuck you, dude." Da, da, da. And he's like, "Dude, I don't care." He's like, "Just make a wish. Wish that uh she like never loved me, right?" And when he goes to try and make the wish, he goes, "Fuck that." He's like, "I wish I had $1 billion." And he breaks it and money just starts falling. And he realizes he was telling the truth. And that's when he's like, "Fuck, I need to go back." Cause he's like, "You fucked me. Like you're the only person that could make this wish for me. And now you haven't done it." So he goes back to his house. And when he gets there, Nikki's there with a gun. And she's threatening to kill herself or kill him. And he's just like, "Look, like we can't do this. Like you can't do this. Like we got to figure something out." And when he gets in there, the Ian guy shows up and is just like, "Yo, like I got a fucking $1 million or $1 billion," right? And she shoots him in the face. Like she straight up kills Ian. And then the bear guy's trying to reason with Nikki, and Nikki's just like, "No, like, no, like I can't be reasoned with," trying to chase him around the house with a gun. And he goes in the bathroom he actually takes the gun from her. He goes in the bathroom. And he's just like, "Maybe I'll kill myself." And he can't do it. And then he sees a bottle of pills, just like his cat. And he's like, "Oh, fuck it." So he eats the whole bottle of pills. And he goes out there and he's like high and euphoric. And he kisses Nikki like one last time. And then as he's kissing her, he like falls down and dies. And she's freaking out. She's like, no, like my love. Like, right? She's totally obsessed with him. And as she's like holding him in his arms and he's dying, she picks up the gun. She gets ready to put it in her mouth. She's about to pull the trigger and then the spell breaks. He's dead. And Nikki is just sitting there and she's crying. She's like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this. Cause she was conscious enough to know what was going on the whole time. Right. And anyways, that's kind of the end. You know, it ends with like the camera panning away and like you hear her crying, go like, oh my God. Right. And it's like, no one wins in this movie. The resolution is that the guy figures out he has to kill himself to get out of the situation to break the spell. Right. And I don't know. It was a good social commentary on modern relationships. It was, how do I say this? Relatable in the sense that like I get like I think every young man, every young woman has that crush, you know, the big crush, and like that's kind of the story here. Like this is the one girl he's like totally into. You know, he was obsessed, but like not to the degree she was obsessed, right? And it kind of goes to show you. I told Stevie and Christine right away. I'm like, kind of be careful what you wish for scenario. Yeah, he obviously made a wish that was too extreme and like he didn't think about it much. Also, it's just like, dude, if she didn't like you already, it wasn't worth going through the trouble trying to force. It's like when people try and force a relationship. It's like if it's not working, it's not working, dude. But anyways, I think it was a big jump for Curry Barker from Milk and Cereal to this to make like a great movie versus like a movie that was really good, but maybe not going to be great. As far as stylized directing, like there was some moments that I thought were like strong, and then some of it felt like it was more like just contemporary horror. But we referenced the movie Voyeurs quite a bit when we watched it. There's also that movie, I think it's just called Voyeur. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's one with Malika Monroe where she's in like Romania, and then there's one with can't remember his name. I think it's Justice Smith and Sydney Sweeney, and it's Voyeurs where they're like living across from a photographer couple. But look, regardless, it had that type of tone, modern cinema, modern horror cinema as well, and it was beautifully shot, well captured. And for 750 grand to have that return, what a hit, you know? So I'm sure Curry's going to have a lot of fucking movies coming out soon. I think he's in charge of the next Texas Chainsaw, and good for him, dude. Very excited to see wherever your career goes. All right. So this is really the movies I watched this week. I watched some other ones, but I'm not going to get into them. They were the VHS movies, and honestly, like I like to talk about a movie like a few days after I saw it. If it's been like a week or plus, like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to beat that old horse, especially with an older movie like Doubtfire. I watched Play Misty for Me, Blow with Johnny Depp. I mentioned these earlier, but they were great experiences on VHS to say the least. I forgot to do this last week, but the Filmmaker Mindset, my book, full of affirmations. It's a mindset for creating without permission. I'm going to read a little bit of this and we'll, talk about it. I had a good one actually lined up. Let me see if I can find it, but you know what? I actually like this one right here. I saw it as I was going. I don't need validation. I need action. I agree with that in general. And I don't think that's like, it's a broad stroke point, but like validation doesn't matter. It's just all about results and action. I say that all the time. Like you need to just fucking not pedal to the metal. Like you can fucking, go at your pace, but like, don't worry about like, oh, I need so-and-so to think I'm good. All the people I used to care about fucking caring about how I did things or was successful, I don't even talk to. Most of them, at least from my past, like people that I really was like, I hope they like what I'm doing. I just don't fucking care. Like, I hope I like what I'm doing. And that's what you should be thinking, right? And I hope I have the fucking willpower and mental strength and prowess to fucking take action to do it. That's what matters. Action over everything. I say this all the time, but like, that's what you need to focus on. This next one, I could go on that one forever, but this next one, I am not afraid to fail publicly is part of it. Okay, like so many people will not even put something out because like, well, it's a George McFly. I always say like, he's writing these science fiction novels and Marty's like, oh, this like sound rad, man. Like, why don't you put them out? He's like, I don't know if I could take that kind of rejection. Well, if you can't take that kind of rejection, this might not be the line of work for you because people aren't going to always like your shit. Not everyone's going to be a fucking fan and not everyone's going to want to support you or champion your shit or cheer you on. And for the ones who do, treat those people good because those people fucking care about you and they actually believe in you. I've been in a lot of artistic fucking pursuits. I've done a lot of fucking artistic shit. Failing is part of it. You're going to make mistakes when you play a show on stage. You're going to fucking say the wrong thing. You're going to fumble on your words. Even in the podcast, sometimes you say the wrong fucking thing. Who gives a fuck? You got to fucking fail to fucking move forward. So if you want to win, if you want to fucking move forward in life, fail. Fail publicly. If somebody sees you fail, let them. Who gives a fuck? It's like a guy who strikes out, bases loaded, ready to go at the end of the game, and he just butchers it. Like sometimes you don't fucking win, and for every time that you do win, it's much sweeter. But like you're gonna fail a lot in artistic pursuit. You're gonna fail a lot in life in general, and it's always take failure to make sure that you can build experience, to make sure the next thing isn't such a fuck up, right? That's how I look at it. Also, like, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on film equipment over the years. Have I learned a lot? Yes. I've also learned what I need, what I don't need. I consider that failing publicly to some extent, maybe not publicly so much as like financially, like, oh, like I've put good money after bad or bad money after good in some cases. Uh, but yeah, like failing publicly is part of it. Even this podcast, like maybe the first few weren't so hot. Maybe people didn't really give a fuck or they didn't like them. But you know what? I've developed the craft. I've been okay with failing publicly, doing this every week and letting people know, like, I don't give a fuck. This is what I'm doing. If you like it, great. If not, and you think this is a failure or you think I'm not making the content I should make or this or that. And I think a lot of these things happen earlier on in your career more so than later. I mean, making a bomb is a bomb, right? But like, in just general, this book isn't necessarily about you're going to the Hollywood studio and you're like, I need to fail publicly. I'm going to go make the Odyssey or something. And like, not to say the Odyssey is a failure, but you know what I mean? Obsession, like I'm going to fail publicly. If Obsession was a bomb for 750 grand, I think Curry Barker would still get back up on the horse and saddle up for the next one. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't worry about what people think about you. Everyone's so caught up on like, what do people think about me? Who loves you the most? It's probably yourself and the people closest to you. You can't focus on what a bunch of people who don't really give a fuck about you think. And that's something that's like a true mental unlock is if you can get over what other people think about you and like be mentally and internally feel strong, that's what matters. So fail publicly and fail a lot and just learn how to do shit. Because if you're not willing to fail at all and just fuck publicly, even in private, you're holding yourself back. So fail and fucking learn and create and keep fucking sharpening the blade because you got to be ready for battle for when you go to fucking make art, when you go to do anything you're doing in life, business deals, etc. You can get fucked on a business deal too. You fail, you fucking figure out how to win again, or do better next time. So I'll leave you with that. And also the filmmaker mindset, not to plug it again, but you can get it on Amazon, you get it on Gumroad. If you want to get a copy, get it. I usually post these on Instagram as well. You can follow me at Devin Thomas Film. Subscribe to my YouTube at Devin Thomas Film. If you're watching this on YouTube, you already know the deal. But yeah, anyways, those are my little promos for the week. I think that's about all I got though. It's been a beautiful fucking time up here at the new place. Really enjoying being back out in the countryside. I think I'm gonna go take a fucking sauna, clear these fucking pores, get all the bad shit I had this weekend out of me, from the food to the alcohol and just rest, like between this TV fucking breaking and all these other things. I gotta go fucking shop for appliances again. I know it's Sunday, but fuck, as much as I'm saying I'm gonna relax, I think I might actually be headed out to go and do some shit right now. But anyways, guys, I'm Devin Thomas. This has been another episode of Unscripted. I'll talk to you all next week.